Guys, it's 2025, the year of Legends ZA, and before we get on that Gen 10 hype train, I think let's look at the main gimmick of Gen 9, which was these silly hats that our Pokemon wore. Terrestrial forms were kind of like Dynamax, where they gave everybody an equal chance to have more powers, but nobody really got new forms. At least most Pokemon didn't get new forms. So without further ado, let me know what your favorite Tera Crown is in the comments, and let's start ranking. First up, we've got Water type. Now, I guess there's not a lot of physical objects that represent water except for just water itself. It's like a splash or a fountain, which I think does an alright job. I don't know what else they could have done. It's alright. I think I'm just gonna give it a B. Next up, Bug. The Bug crown for me does a great job of being an actual crown. It looks like it actually fits on, and it really represents the type, antenna and wings. Just say Bug. So yeah, I think this one's gonna be the first S tier. Dragon type is another favorite of mine. It kind of gives me like Unova and Gen 5, sort of how Pokemon does like the generic dragon decorations on like the Opelucid City gym. I love that it has like the black with the red wings, very shiny Charizard looking. I don't know how else you would represent the dragon without being a literal dragon, so this one's going to be a strong A tier for me. Dark type is another one that's definitely hard to represent with something, especially because in Japan Dark type is the evil type. So a scary face, which is a ghost type move, I don't know. It kind of gives evil emoji rather than dark type. I'm probably going to give this one a middling B because I don't know how they could have done it better, but it's not bad. The electric type light bulb is another one of my favorite because it does just look like a really big stupid hat, but in the best way possible. And I don't think you could represent electricity any better than a light bulb. They do that all the time in the gyms and the gym puzzles, and it's even got like a little jiggity light bulb in the middle. Yeah, so not too shocking here. That's going to be an S tier. So Fairy is like the goodness type, right? And I get that they were going for this magic girl, like love and angelic thing, but it seems very clunky, and I feel like this doesn't fit with like a majority of fairy types. Like, don't put this on my Grimmsnarl. I feel like maybe a more subtle element that looked maybe just like a fairy, like a traditional fairy, would have looked very nice. So yeah, not a big fan of this. Feels a little bit over-designed. Probably going to put it down in F tier. For the fire type, I guess a candelabra or a candle holder is slightly better than just having flames coming out of its head. But then again, it makes me go back to water, and I'm like, okay, well then why wasn't water like a tap? I definitely like how this one looks on a Pokemon, like having melting candles on top of your Pokemon. And I'm sure there's Pokemon like Litwick and Chandelure that look really good when you put this on top of them. The only way I could see them doing this otherwise is probably like an active volcano, but that would probably be a little bit similar to the ground type. So yeah, I think candles are the way to go. It's growing on me. I'm going to say A tier. Similar to what I said with fairies, I feel like flowers don't fit best with every single grass type, but at the same time, when your Pokemon is not a grass type before it terastallizes, the fact that it's growing flowers out of it is kind of funny. I guess the only other thing they could have done is probably like a whole tree, and trees are majority brown and not green. Maybe like a sapling or like some vines could have been different. But yeah, I don't hate the flowers. They're a little more colorful than some of the other crowns. For me, this one's probably going to be another A tier. I don't see what else they could have really done. Okay, we're about halfway through, but I think everybody can agree this is the best one. The ghost type is the ghost from Red and Blue. It is Cubone's mom when she shows up. We can see it a little bit better in the remakes Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. And it's kind of funny to me that it's sort of like the soul of the Pokemon has like left the body and is now being worn as a hat, or is just like sort of floating above them like they've been Doctor Stranged out of their body. I love a reference back to the original games. I'm going to put that at the top of S tier. Okay, so I really like the poison type. I think the Skull and Crossbones has been the symbol for poison type across the card games and the games since the beginning, and it's in this really toxic purple color that it usually is. What's nice about it is it's still very rounded and cartoony. Yeah, I'm probably going to give this one another S tier. I like it when psychic Pokemon reference like the third eye, and that's exactly what's happening here with the psychic type Tera Crown. It's just this big psychic eye. It's the same in the TCG how they represent it. I think most places represent the psychic type like just with an eye, the mind's eye. I think it's a really solid representation. So yeah, I think this is just another easy S tier. I don't think it could have been any better. The boxing glove with the energy swirling around it feels very plus ultra to me. It feels very anime. I really like that it's sort of coming out of the Pokemon. It's like that fighting spirit leaving the Pokemon. I think it looks really good on most Pokemon that it's put on, even though it's a little strange range. It's a really good representation of the fighting type. The fighting type is usually represented by the fist. So I think it's going to be an A tier. Definitely one of the more creative ones going. I mean, what represents the ground better than the earth, or half of the planet Earth with like the nuclear rings in it and some ground sticking out of it. Maybe there was something with like fossils they could have done, but it's an interesting way of going away from just looking like the rock type. It's a bold choice, but I think it works, so I'm probably going to put this one in a B tier. And now the rock type, which is just a full-on museum or ancient building. It reminds me a lot of that one outfit from Unite that Crystal can wear, where it's just the Pantheon or something. But yeah, I think it's really good. I've kind of talked myself into it again. I like that it's a museum and rock types represent the past because rock is very old. Let's put that one in A tier. The flying type using balloons is of course another reference to Pikachu using balloons so that it can learn fly. Again, in Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, we saw them doing this again with the bike that uses balloons so that you can fast travel. I really like it. I think I grew fond of it because I had the event Pikachu that had the flying Tera type straight from the get-go as one of my team. It does feel a little bit colorful. I maybe would have liked them to use more lighter blues and stuff. Again, I definitely prefer a fun and more out there reference than just a cloud or a pair of wings. So I think I'm going to just put it in a middle B. I'm going to be very short with this one. I don't think you could represent the ice any better than just a really pretty snowflake. I think this is another one that makes a pretty cool hat. And of course, like snowflakes are made of ice crystals, so it fits really well with the whole Tera theme. I think maybe a silly snowman on top of the head would have been the more fun option, but I'm glad that they just went with a simple snowflake because I think it works really well. S tier. Okay, I think this might be my favorite one. There's so many instances where Pokemon has just not known how to represent the steel type. In Sword and Shield, the steel type was just represented by like a metal cube. Somebody can explain to me what the symbol on the TCG cards is, but I'm really glad they just went all out and went with this crazy axe. It looks great on Pokemon like Sudowoodo. Great choice. I'm gonna go with another S tier. I really like the normal Tera type crown. I think if you personified normal into like this magical crystal form, it would probably just be some diamonds. This is another case of it looks like a really good hat. It fits really well. There's official art of it on Eevee, who's the mascot for normal type. I also like that they did include some gold accents. This is definitely one of the cases of where a little bit more color does it justice and works a little bit better than maybe the flowers or the balloons or the earth, where it's just too many different colors coming in. So yeah, this is gonna be another S. I'm gonna put it second to Ghost because I do love the reference of Ghost type. Okay, future Chris here because I should probably talk about these as well. Ogerpon gets 3 terrestrial forms, 1 for each of its masks. The teal mask is the standard one. It's what the DLC is named after. It makes for a great next form to Ogerpon, so S tier. The Wellspring mask, I think, does a better job of representing the water type than the water type does. I love the art in the TCG for this, but I do think it loses that scary Oni look, so B tier. The Cornerstone mask is giving me big Crash Bandicoot energy, and I love it. Let's go A tier. The Hearthflame mask keeps that Oni look that I really like. I think this is one of the better ones. This is an A tier. Okay, and then of course I can't not mention the Stellar Tera type crown. Brilliant, actually a crown, has all the types around it represented by like their type symbols. You get a little Terapagos on top of your Pokemon's head. I think that's really great. Very overkill, but it should be. It's a crown that's all the types, so that has to be another S tier. All right, I hope you guys stuck around. I hope you guys enjoyed and agree with my ranking. Maybe there's some more I could have put a little bit lower down. Maybe I was a little too easy on some of these. But yeah, let me know in the comments which crowns you used the most on your team. If you want to see more tier lists, if you want to see me rank something else, again, please let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, and I'm excited to make so many more videos this year. Before you go, why not like and subscribe, and I'll see you in whatever's next.